Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with tall tales and tantalising truths. On Lee Mack's team tonight, an actress who recently played the part of Anne Boleyn. Very exciting, although, spoiler alert, she's not in the second series. It's Carrie-Anne Lloyd. And a comedian who, when he was on Celebrity MasterChef, arranged his herbs in alphabetical order. Where did he find the time? Probably next to the parsley. It's Aid Edmondson. And over on David Mitchell's team tonight, a singer who is one half of Rizzle Kicks. So tonight's biggest lie will be when David pretends he's heard of them. It's Jordan Stevens. And as part of The Apprentice, he's responsible for Lord Sugar's annual search to find Britain's most deluded narcissist. Please welcome Claude Littner. And so to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They have no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Aid, you're first up.
Right. When I broke my neck at school, all I was given was an aspirin.
David's team.
What happened? How did you break your neck?
Don't worry, we can lose that pause in the edit.
Yeah. As a young man, I was in the gym team.
Right.
At school. We were doing a display for whatever you do, Founders Day, something like that. I had to do a somersault over a box. A box? A horse.
Yeah. A horse box. One of the things.
Wasn't that big?
Yeah, right. Vault.
Yes. So I jumped over one of those and was supposed to do a somersault, but I did 1.5.
And landed on your head.
He's very clever, isn't he?
Yeah. So what happened then, Aid? You came crashing to the floor.
There was a very loud noise.
Your neck breaking made a noise.
Yes. Why wouldn't a neck breaking make a lot of noise?
That's a good point. Wouldn't you scream anyway? I mean...
But the noise would precede the scream.
But on the way down, on the way to hitting your neck, presumably you'd be shouting out something like, ah!
No, because actually there's sometimes a delay before the pain actually arrives.
Yeah, but there still might be alarm as you see the chances of you saving yourself from a neck
he's in
break.
there, doesn't
It's like people in an
every-
aeroplane that's crashing, they're probably screaming, and you don't go, well, you're fine at the moment.
Yes.
So you've hit the ground, you fall to the floor. What happens then?
I was in a great deal of pain.
Was there a gym teacher present?
There was. He was Scottish.
Yeah.
Jock Watt, his name was.
No.
That was his...
You had a teacher called Jock Watt. So what did Watt do?
One of the first things he did was he put out his cigarette. No.
On the head of a nearby child.
Yes. Watt was there...
Where?
Because in the display...
What was in the display?
What?
Part of it.
We're quite small schoolboys. So there's a kind of teacher to catch you.
Oh,
or
yeah.
half catch you. Half catch.
So somebody dropped you.
You bounce over the thing and you sort of...
Is that after he dropped you? Is that when he went...
I was carried off the field of display.
By what?
By... and taken to the sick bay, where I was given an aspirin.
So where was Watt now?
I wish his name wasn't Watt.
Why?
So was it evident to you from the start that you'd broken your neck?
No. I suffered a great deal of pain for very many years and didn't really find out about the crushed vertebrae until...
Yesterday.
Until a few years after.
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking that it could be true?
Well, I think I've been observing him, as I do, and he doesn't have full movement of his neck. Look at that.
How long have you been observing him for, Claude?
You see?
What do you think?
I reckon it's true now because of the whole neck thing.
Do you think it's true because of inhibited neck movement?
I do indeed.
We're going to say it's true.
Aid Edmondson, was it true or was it a lie?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. Aid was given an aspirin for a broken neck. Cariad,
Yes.
you're next.
I was sacked from my job in a call centre for repeatedly using different accents on the phone.
David's team.
Who were you in a call centre for? Who did you work for?
I was working for Royal Mail.
Royal Mail?
Yes.
And what sort of call do you get? Where's my post?
It was a while ago, and you used to not have Google, and people used to ring for postcodes.
What's your favourite accent to do?
So obviously Welsh is easy, so...
Would you do the accent of the postcode?
So, yeah, that would... Sometimes you could do that.
So, OK, I'll be the person who
Okay.
needs my postcode.
Okay.
OK?
Yeah,
That does sound like a pre-Google phone, I'll give you that.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Bula da.
I need a postcode, please.
That's nice.
Oh, are you Welsh as well?
Dim eich hyfryd.
Oh, nachi nawr I bydd y Mair. Ac y Mair are sitting at a panel ac I got a moron to your left.
Can you give me the full address, please?
All right. 14 Mack Avenue.
Oh, now, where's that now?
It's just round the corner from Success Street.
14 Mack Avenue, Deadsville, Nowhere Town.
I'm afraid...
Oh, it is in Wales.
Oh, yes, that's very near Swansea. The postcode you require is S for Sugar, W for Wilson, 8, R for Robert, B for Bertie.
That's a lot nearer Wimbledon than I expected. SW.
Well, I wasn't always right.
David, why don't you make an inquiry?
OK. Hello.
Well, hang on, you've got to ring her first.
That's really good.
The sooner this is privatised, the better.
Hey there, hello, hi.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to speak to an American.
No, I know, it's exciting. I just came over here and I got myself a job.
That's very good. That's
Were
very
you
good.
working 9 to 5, by any chance?
How can I help y'all?
Well, I would
How
like...
y'all doing there? You have a nice day? It's so hot here in London, I can't tell you. I'm sweating like a pig.
Well, hang on, it's not one of those lines, is it? Yeah, it's real hot here. I might just get out of these hot clothes.
I literally didn't say that. I said sweating like a pig.
In which case, at the other end, you'd hear, really? Oh, gosh, well, I certainly wasn't expecting that. So how did they discover that you were doing these voices?
I didn't know, but they were listening in to check.
For training purposes?
And so they were listening in for a week on me.
Look, I have as much of a sense of fun as the next man. But
I hope it's not him.
that's very disrespectful to your employers.
They were paying me, like, $4.60 an hour, I think.
Well, work more hours.
Work more hours, save up, you can go on a cruise.
So what did they say to you? What did they say to you?
They took me aside, and there was going to be, like, Christmas break, and they just said, we're asking everyone back after Christmas, but we're not asking you. I should have said, that's fine, sugar, I don't even care. But,
So what do you think? Claude?
No, you have to say it out loud.
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
They wouldn't wait a week to fire her. I'd have fired her immediately.
I think it's believable that you could be that bored in a phone centre.
I'm leaning towards true.
OK, you're saying it's true. Cariad? Truth or lie?
It's true.
Yes, it's true. Cariad was sacked from her job for using different accents. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Ian. So, Claude, what is Ian to you?
Well, this is Ian, and he's keeping my motorbike in his shed, and my wife doesn't know that I've actually got a motorbike.
Jordan, how do you know Ian?
This is Ian. We used to regularly drive to a field together and howl at the moon.
And David, what is your relationship with Ian?
This is Ian. He is the taxi driver who cooked me a fried egg sandwich on the engine of his car.
So there we have it. Lee, where do you want to start?
Well, we could do with one more, because none of them are sounding very convincing. So, Jordan, why would you bark at the moon?
Because full moon, you know, like, that's what you do.
Oh, so you would only do...
No, you don't.
You would only do the full moon?
Yeah, it'd be a full moon.
Where would you do this?
A field.
How old were you?
4. My mum was there,
Yeah.
and some of her friends.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
And do you know how old he is? Roughly.
4.
I noticed you had to glance there, Jordan, just
40.
to check. 40? So he's 15 years older than you. So when you were 4, he was 19, right? What's your
Yeah.
relationship with this man?
He's like my mum's mate.
He's your mum's friend, and so your mum would howl at the moon?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, my mum loves the moon. In
It
fact,
sounds like you all love the moon.
yeah. My mum's name's actually Emma Luna because she likes the moon.
Right.
Hang on, she changed her name to that.
Yeah, I think she was called Emmalina.
And what's his name?
Well,
Do
Ian...
you want a minute to think?
It's Ian Howell.
Ian Howell?
Ian Howell.
Yeah.
Ian Howell and Emma Luna. And did you have a moon-associated name at that time?
I wanted one.
But you weren't old enough to get your moon
You hadn't
name.
earned your moon name.
They just
Yeah.
kept calling you son. You're not ready yet, son. How many people were in the field howling at the moon?
I didn't know it was dark.
How long are you doing this? How long are you howling at the moon for? You there
How
all
long
night?
for?
Yeah.
Just until we felt better.
Better. What was up with you?
It's very therapeutic howling at the moon.
But
you
yeah,
know?
therapy for what? What was up with you?
Well, you know, the month gets a bit like...
Yeah,
oh,
you
know?
look at your hands, they've gone really hairy.
Yeah. Yes.
You better howl at the moon.
I had a quite hippie upbringing, you know. It was just getting a one with nature.
So it's getting in one with nature. It was a bit of a hippie...
Feeling the energy.
How long
We
was
just had a
this-
thunder moon, actually. Very powerful.
You've just had one.
Yeah, recently.
We have just had one.
Yeah, we did.
I haven't personally had a thunder moon. It's not like a moon. It's not like a dish. I had thunder moon last night. It was fantastic.
I had curry last night. I had thunder moon this morning.
All right, who else would you like to question? Claude, why don't you remind us of
Sorry, Claude, yes.
how you know Ian?
Well, I know Ian because I first met him about a year ago, and he came to fix a leak in my house. In the course of conversation, he said that he's got a motorbike. And actually, I've always wanted a motorbike.
Right, have you never owned one before?
No, I haven't.
OK.
No.
So you've never ridden one?
I probably have on holiday, but not really.
All right.
What bike is it?
What bike have I actually bought?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you've asked me that. It's called... I don't know how familiar you are with bikes.
Well, let's
Very
assume he is.
It's called a Fat Boy.
Oh, good.
Fat boy.
It's a Harley Davidson.
And when did you take your test?
No, I haven't taken the test. That's why the bike's in his shed.
Because you can't drive it.
Not yet,
So
but,
you
but I
bought-
can start it up.
Why haven't you told your wife?
I don't think she'd approve.
Well, do you think this is not going to give it away a bit on national television?
But sooner or later, the truth must out, and I've chosen tonight.
You've got a Harley Davidson that you're just happy not to ride around?
Well, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it. It's more of a status symbol, you know what I mean?
It's only a
I've got
status symbol
Harley.
if it's outside the shed and your stats on it. It's not a status symbol if it's someone's shed and no one sees it. You might as well have bought a rake. And you go and visit the bike?
I do.
To have a look at it?
Well, what I do is I tell my wife I'm going on a business meeting, and that gives me a few hours of leeway, and I go and go to the shed,
And what do you do?
start up the bike, feel the throbbing.
What do you think your wife's going to say when she's watching this programme? Apart from, why did you go on that?
Well, the thing is that actually she's in the audience now, so it's even
She's
worse.
here tonight?
She is.
Well, this will be nice for her to find out. How much did you pay for it?
Well, the thing is, the list price was around 17,500.
And how much did you
I said
pay?
that quickly, so it doesn't kind of get too much.
And how much did you pay,
I
darling?
paid a shade under 15 grand, which I think you'll find is a very good price.
Why did they give you $2.5 grand off? Because you're clearly a rich...
Because that's the way I do deals.
You're just good at doing deals?
Yeah, that's the way I roll.
Now, when you do come to ride this bike, what will your attire be? Will you be wearing leathers?
Yes, I've already bought my leathers.
You wear the leathers when you go to look at it?
Yeah.
You don't.
I do. But the thing is that with me, it's just that I just wanted to have the wind in my hair.
All right, what about David?
Remind us again, please, David.
This is Ian, and he's the taxi driver who cooked me a fried egg sandwich on the engine of his car.
And where were you going from and to?
I was going from a holiday home in the West Country, in Cornwall.
Your holiday home?
No, I temporarily had legal access to the holiday home. Quite a common... I don't know what the name of it in contract law would be, but it's like when you go on holiday to a holiday home, it's not your holiday home, but you're allowed to be there for a bit if you give them money.
It's called a rental.
Rental.
That's right. So you're at a rental home?
And then I was leaving it to go to a railway station.
What station was it?
Bodmin Parkway.
You definitely started the word Bodmin, not knowing how that was going to end.
And he drove you to Bodmin Parkway?
Yes.
And when did the fried egg, when did that come out in conversation?
Yeah.
When we'd arrived at the...
You'd already arrived?
Didn't you have a train to catch?
Yes, but the train
Yes.
had been cancelled.
Ah.
Why?
And then-
Why was it cancelled?
I can't remember. But it
how
does
long did you-
sometimes. Believe me, that can happen.
Could he not just drive you into Bodmin and find a cafe?
I think
go
he's
to a camp?
proud of his egg-on engine cooking skills.
How did he do
I
it?
think
Did he have a frying pan on the engine?
No.
happened?
Aluminium foil.
So he has this with him.
in.
Did he?
Oh, he didn't have any of this with him. No, no.
Yeah.
He mimed it.
You've got...
And where did he find the egg?
He had it in the car.
He had an egg in the car.
Oh, that's weird.
I tell you what, he didn't just have one egg. He had, I think, I would estimate between 3 and 6
Where did he keep these eggs?
Yeah.
in an egg box.
No, but where was the egg? Was it in the boot?
I think it was in a bag in the boot.
A bag in the boot?
Boot, bag, egg box, eggshell, white yolk.
You've forgotten eggs.
For a man like you, David, it seems socially awkward to be standing round the engine with a bit of tin foil and...
But isn't that more reason that it happened? Any normal people like us would just go, "You're all right, mate," and walk off. He stuck out. Well, I suppose I'd better forget the train and just have an egg
Don't
sandwich.
forget the train. I'm waiting. I've got to wait there an hour. Yeah, I'm not trying to sort of forge a new life with Ian at Bodmin Parkway car park. Oh, we've got 4 eggs. That'll see us through the next day or 2.
So, we need an answer. Lee's team. Is Ian Claude's motorbike minder, Jordan's moonlight mate, or David's fried egg friend?
What I don't like about David's story is the idea that there was another... I live in the southwest. That there was another train in an hour. They're not that...
Brilliant. They're like once a day.
There's like 3 trains
A day.
on that line from Bodmin.
You've been done. Wow.
OK, what about Claude and the motorbike?
The idea that he wouldn't tell his wife
Yeah, I think that's
that he's
silly.
bought a motorbike, I actually do buy. I
Oh,
buy
really?
that bit. The bit I don't buy is that he chooses a light entertainment show that's been
Yes.
nominated for 3 BAFTAs we've never won. to tell everybody, mainly his wife, that that is what he's done.
All right, now what about Jordan and Howling at the Moon?
I'm liking this
I
story.
still don't know why. He said it's to make him feel better, but...
No, I had hippie parents and I had to do a lot of weird stuff.
What did you have to do?
Oh, we had to go and sit in circles and chant and shout in like, communes in Scotland. Yeah,
Really?
so I had to do weird stuff like that.
Am I the only one that just... We all had to go shoplifting at Freshly?
I'm thinking Jordan.
OK, we'll go... Should we go for Jordan?
You going for Jordan?
Oh, it could be Claude. Look at his little eyes. There was just as I said Jordan then, you were about to turn. Claude, literally, like the evil man with the white cat on the... Just because of the menacing evil smile, I think we should change it to Claude.
You're going to go with Claude?
Claude.
Yeah.
All right,
Victory.
Ian, please reveal your true identity.
I'm Ian, and Jordan and I used to howl at the moon.
Is he called Ian Howe? And were you called Ian Howe before you were howling at the moon, or did you change your name?
I was always called Ian Howe.
I knew it.
Let's
hippie stuff.
hear the howl. Yes, Ian is Jordan's moonlight mate. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
Having recently got into Eastern cuisine, this Christmas sees the launch of my new cookbook. Lee Mack's Walk Around the Clock.
David.
Give us some of the recipes from Walk Around the Clock.
Shall I give you my favourite ones?
Give just your favourite 6 or 7.
OK. Yeah, well, I like quite simplistic. Because believe it or not, simplistic.
So, raw pork.
So, sweet and sour pork balls is one of my specialities.
How would you cook your sweet and sour pork balls?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how I would cook my sweet and sour pork balls. For £9.99, you can find out.
Did you go to the publishers with this idea?
I went to Penguin because they're the only book publishers I've heard of.
How keen were they? Because I have to say, if I was a publisher and you came to me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be interested.
Well, ironically, Penguin didn't pick it up straight away.
Yeah.
Did you work in conjunction with a proper chef?
Of course, I was helped a little bit.
Who? By whom?
It's a friend of mine, works at the Chinese restaurant.
What's the name of this person?
You wouldn't know him.
Well, give it a try.
Steve. Steve Jenkins. I've been going into the Chinese restaurant a lot recently. And I've been really sort of learning about it and savouring the dishes. And I keep saying, Steve, this is fantastic. What is this? And then he says something in Chinese, which I don't understand. And then I said...
Steve Jenkins is Chinese.
He was adopted when he was a kid. Taken to China. But he was an English baby, yeah. This is a true story. They took Steve Jenkins. They adopted him.
Even though he was a baby, he was known as Steve.
Obviously not. Then he was called Baby Steve.
So this Chinese couple adopt baby
Stephen.
What's his full name? He's called Steve Jenkins.
They don't change his name.
Well, they couldn't change his name, could they? 'Cause he
Continue
was...
to call him
because
Steve
he's
Jenkins.
Well, he was clearly an English baby. They knew he was going to grow up looking Western.
Was he the only Steve Jenkins in his school?
I think we should concentrate more on my ability to cook and less on my ability to understand the basic systems of adopting children and taking them to China.
What was the hardest recipe to perfect?
The hardest one was to perfect was definitely the beef in oyster sauce with chilli.
How would you go about cooking that?
Well, first of all, I will get my wok. Yes?
Very bold of you.
Yeah, so I get my wok down from my wok shelf.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Oh, wok shelf?
Wok shelf, yes.
How many woks do you own?
About 7.
7 woks?
You don't... How many woks have you got?
1.
Well, that's why you haven't got a book out at Christmas, mate.
Yeah.
So I light the burner, like that. That's the noise. Heat the oil, put the oil down. Peanut oil, actually. Don't use olive oil, peanut oil. So put the peanut oil
Sounds
round...
delicious.
The trick with the wok is not to put the oil at the bottom of the pan. It's to dribble it round the edge. You know the way same way you do a toilet duck?
Yeah.
All the way around the edge and watch it slightly go down. And the publisher said, probably don't use that analogy. So, put it around the edge. Let it all sink down to the bottom like that, yeah? Give it a good spinning round
This
like
is
that.
peanut oil, even though
This
an
is-
increasing number of people in Britain are allergic to peanuts.
Absolutely, but
Doesn't bother you?
No, I make it very clear to those people on the front of the book. I say, if you have a peanut allergy, you are not welcome. We'll do that. Throw it in. You flash fry it.
I'm there.
Then you're throwing in 3 or 4 different ingredients, depends which, but there's different versions of it. But I'm going to go with the one with lots of greens. You've got lots of broccoli, you've got lots of carrots, you've got lots of... a few sesame seeds, you're throwing it in. The thing is to feel the pan, feel it, become the pan, become one with the pan. You flick it up there, stir it round. That's when you add the sauce. That's when you've got to add the sauce, the oyster sauce. But it's homemade oyster sauce. How do you make homemade oyster sauce? I'll tell you exactly how you make homemade oyster sauce. You get some water from the tap, you soak your oysters in it. Yes, you do use oysters. You soak them for 4 weeks in water. So the water goes black. How does it go black? You get your squid ink. You squid ink it in. You mix it up. You then mash it down, in. Get it really liquidy. It's on the turn, but it's not gone off. You've got to get it just on the turn. You put it in, you whisk it round. It's not anymore because stop that. It's gone. It's simmering away like that. It all settles down and you pour it onto the pan like that. £9.99. The book's yours.
David, what are you thinking? It was very entertaining, but was it... Well, I say very. Was it true?
No, it wasn't true.
Do you need a little time to discuss this with your team?
No, I know. Well, firstly, it wasn't true off the card to start with, because there's no way Lee would bring out that sort of book.
Why?
I've met him, it's evident.
But why? You don't
He
know
then
everything
went on
about
to
me.
make it less
You don't know
plausible
everything about me, David.
that your collaborator in this book is a man called Steve Jenkins, who was adopted as a baby in this country, taken back to China.
Not for long.
No, for his whole childhood.
No, he said they came back to Britain.
Yeah, but when he was an adult.
Oh, when he's an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise he'd have been able to speak English now, wouldn't he?
How did you write a book with a man that only spoke Cantonese?
Well, we had an interpreter. Chinese fella called Brian Smith.
I think you're incredible, man.
Incredible as in not credible.
So we're saying it's a lie. Yeah. Well, the audience are on tenterhooks. Lee, was it the truth?
See, there's a slight part of me now thinking, I could actually bring this out. It's a lie.
It's a lie. Lee hasn't written a cookbook called Lee Mack's Walk Around the Clock. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that David's team have won by 4 points to 0. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
More Secrets Revealed with Joe Lycett, Unreal Lives, shared with Radio 1's Greg James. And while you're on BBC iPlayer, Kayvan Novak has a message for you in the Celebrity Voicemail Show. Here next, wedding plans in Mrs Brown's Boys.